up? It's Zach back at it here again for Down South Racing. Today I got a really cool video for you. So I get a lot of crap because I drive an automatic Mustang and this, that, and the other. And so as do most people on the internet who drive automatics, because apparently, you know, everyone is a race car driver and it's manual or die basically. But truth be told, you know, automatics are better for daily driving because they are just simply easier, and modern day automatics are even faster than stick shifts. But today I got a cool little video. I'm going to teach you all how to drive a stick shift. So my buddy Derek's Golf GTI. It's a APR stage 2 car, so it makes about 300 horsepower. It's very fast for what it is. Weighs right about 3,000 pounds, and it goes very well. So, but we're going to start, and I'm going to show you all the basics, show you all some, you know, a little bit advanced techniques and stuff, and then we'll get started. So hope you guys learned something. So first things first, you know, obviously you got to have your key in your car, and if your car requires you to insert the key, then you know you have to insert it. And so, but this one doesn't, so keep in mind. So to start the car, you have to put your foot on the brake, because this one is push button. It's right here's his button right here on the side of the steering wheel. And so to start it, you put your foot on the brake and you depress the clutch, which is the third pedal right here, and then you hold in this, the car comes on. So now you have to make sure, the next step, you have to make sure your gear selector here is in neutral. That means you can move it side to side. So then you can release your foot off the clutch all the way. And this right here is your parking brake. It's your emergency brake in most cars, but this is how you put your manual car into park. So guys, next what you want to do if you're just beginning, my advice to you would be to just sit here and just depress the clutch and feel how hard it comes out. So, you know, you press it all the way in, just let it out, try to let it out real slow. And so then what you want to do is you want to press it all the way in, and as long as you got your parking brake on, you should be okay. Push your gear selector up into first. Up and left is into first. It follows this pattern right here. So, but to get it into reverse, on this one you have to push it down and then over. So, but as far as just driving normally, what you want to do is you just want to just go through your gears, maintaining the clutch depressed. That way, you know, the car doesn't lurch forward and stall. So again, you know, just go through this, and you know, I can drive a stick shift, so I'm not going to do this a lot, but I'm just showing you. So obviously, most people at least know that in a stick shift, the hardest part about driving a stick shift is pulling out. And so to pull out, you can't let the clutch, you can't just press it in and pull it out. So what I'm going to go over is how to, you know, just release the clutch slowly and just pull out. And also I want to go over, while it's on my mind, you need to just, like, starting out, just find a parking lot, an empty parking lot, you know, nobody's really in it. You can drive around, make circles, you know. That way you can just get used to the car and, you know, just fill it out for just beginners, you know, because you're not going to just jump in. Most people at least aren't just going to jump in and just go down the road, because that's kind of dangerous in a way, because you could stall in the middle of the road, somebody coming at you, there's nothing they can do, you know, and stuff like that. But so first things first, put your foot on the brake, then release your e-brake all the way down. So then you're going to press your clutch all the way in with your foot on the brake. Then you come up here to your gear selector, push it over to the left and up. So now you're in first gear. So what you're going to do is you're just going to, if you're on flat, you can take your foot off the brake, and you can just really, really slowly, look, we're starting to move. Just starting to move. And just keep letting your foot out real, real slow. So now look, my foot's all the way out the clutch. I'm not pressing the gas. And look, we're just moving. Doing like 5 miles an hour now. So this is what you want to do. You just want to keep, you know, kind of like this. Now look, I can give it gas, you know, just like, it's just like a normal car. So I can give it gas. We are in first gear. So it's just like any other car, you know, you can just turn and keep going in circles and such. Just keep going. So the next part though is tricky. So when you stop, if you want to come to a stop, you either have to depress the clutch and put your foot on the brake, or when you're going, simply just pull the gear lever into neutral, and then you can just foot on the brake, come to a complete stop. And so that's your basics there. You know, it's really all about the clutch feel. And so, but once you get a little better, or, you know, actually like pulling out, this is how you want to do it. So you want to foot on the brake, clutch in, first gear. And so what you do is you watch your rev counter right here, and so you give it just a little bit of gas, just, you know, about 1500 RPM or less, and you just slowly let out, and then you get going. So next, obviously, you have to learn how to shift gears, because in an automatic car, you know, you just put it in drive and it goes through however many gears it has, just based upon what kind of throttle you're giving it. In a stick shift, you know, that is the main purpose of the stick shift. You are in control. So look, so you got clutch in, you got first gear. So that, you know, in first gear in this car, you can go up to about 20-25 miles an hour. That's about how most cars are. Then you got second gear. That's how you get up to, you know, 40 or 50. Third gear, you know, 50 or, you know, 70 or so. Fourth gear, over 100. Fifth gear, well past 100 in most cars. And then sixth gear, it actually probably won't be as fast, even though it's geared to go faster, because sixth gear is what's called your overdrive gear. So that means your drive shaft is spinning less you know, revolutions per minute, RPMs, than your wheels are. So it's not going to be like directly connected. That means, you know, or your drive shaft is spinning slower, sorry. And so that means, you know, you're going to get better fuel economy, your revs are going to be lower, but you're not going to be as fast, because it's a very long gear is what it's called. As for shifting gears, again, basics. Clutch in, foot on the brake, e-brake down, put car into first, up and left, watch your revs, let your clutch out. You got to feel where it bites at. You see how I kind of didn't get it just right and it lurched a little bit? But for shifting gears, what you do is, once you get going, you're going to put your foot on the clutch, take your foot off the gas, pull the lever down into second, let off the clutch very slowly, and now you're in second. So guys, those are your basic steps. So firstly, you have to push the clutch in to start the vehicle, no matter if it's keyless or keyed. So you got to push the clutch in and either press the button or you got to twist the key. And so you got to make sure then that your gear shift is in neutral. That means it can move all the way side to side. So you'll see people get in a manual and they'll do this. That's how they tell if their car's in neutral. So then, once it's in neutral, you can let your foot all the way off the clutch and the car will just sit, just as it is. So you gotta make sure you have your e-brake on though, unless you're on flat ground, you know, then you can the car will obviously just stay. So your e-brake is your parking brake. So don't forget, when you stop, you know, come to a complete stop, like to park the car, you have to put your car in neutral, or you can leave it in gear, but you have to turn it off while it's still in gear before you can let out of the clutch. Then you pull your e-brake. So that's your basics. All right, guys, so first things first, you know, you get in the car, make sure you're buckled up. So then, foot on the brake, let your e-brake down. Keeping your foot on the brake, press the clutch in, up and left into first gear, and then you do your basic steps. You can either just let the clutch just slowly, slowly, slowly feel it grab. See, look, I felt it grab right there, and we're moving now. So now I just let the clutch all the way out, and I can just give it gas, just like any other normal car, okay? So now we're going. I want to shift into second gear. I'm going to take my foot off the gas, press the clutch all the way in, pull it down into second. So you can just drive it like it's a normal car from here on out. So in third gear, it's kind of different. You just push straight, because your car has what's called a centering spring in. So foot off the gas, clutch in, straight up. So coming to a stop, I want to put my gear shift in neutral, and I can come to a complete stop just like that. So it's pretty simple, okay? You see what I'm saying? It's not very hard. The hardest thing to learn is just clutch modulation. So you have to learn how to let the clutch out extremely slowly. So if you let it out too fast, like watch here, I will do one stall for you, sorry. All right, so look, so I'm just going to dump the clutch is what it's called. So you just let the clutch out. Now watch. See the car jump forward, and it turned off. So that's what you don't want to do. So one or two of those isn't going to hurt your car by any means. So just, you know, it's part of the learning. Keep in mind too, when you're shifting, you have to let the clutch out slow, because if you go to just let the clutch out fast, it's not going to hurt it once you're moving, but your car is going to lurch and stuff. So like watch this, like you're in first, you're pulling out. Listen, so I pulled out, and now watch what happens when I shift and just let out the clutch. See, it just bangs in there. So the key is, so go back down into first, let your clutch out real slow, let your RPMs catch up, give it a little gas. And so when you're just normally driving, you just let the clutch in, smoothly shift, clutch out, and now we're in second. See? Pretty simple. Look, now we're going to go for a quick drive down the road, and I'm going to show you all what it's like to drive just as you're going down the road. You know, just normal everyday driving, okay? First step, make sure nobody's coming. Same thing. Just clutch out real slow, give it some gas. I'm on a hill, so I had to give it a little bit more. You're just going down the road. Shift into second. And remember, third, clutch in, foot off the gas, straight up. Let the clutch out really slow. See how very smooth. So look, that's just exactly how it is. You try to be smooth. And so, okay, here's an everyday scenario. So you're coming up on a speed hump. So what you want to do is you want to put your car in neutral, foot on the brake, start slowing down, come up to the speed hump. This car is low, so this is, you know, so you got clutch in now, first gear, let the clutch out just real slow. Just go right on over it, give it just a little bit of gas. Clutch out, and now we're coming up to the next one, clutch back in. Clutch out real slow, give it a little gas. And now you got over the speed hump. Smooth shifting. Up into third. So now we're going to go into fourth for the first time. So fourth is just straight down from third. So you just clutch in, foot off the gas, straight down. Pretty simple, guys, once you get going. Just, it's taking off is the hardest part. So that's what you have to watch the most. Now we're going to go into fifth. So fifth is up and to the right. So go up to the right. Pretty easy. So now we got our basics down. We got our how to take off, how to change gears, how to change gears smoothly, all kind of stuff like that. You know, how to start the car. That will get you going. So then, you know, the first problem most people encounter, you know, how to stop, also did that too, is you get on a hill. And so that is called a hill start. And it's kind of difficult because you got to give the car more power and also still be, it's called slipping the clutch. You got to let it get to its point where it grabs. And so the way some people do that, they use their e-brake. Like they'll put the car in gear and like see the e-brake's still on. And so like what they'll do is they'll just kind of let it like down and like watch, like car will kind of, see it, you just kind of start moving and then like you give it gas and see like it doesn't always go so well. So my way of doing that, to make it easier at least, like we're going to come up to a hill right here and we're going to pull out on the road. So neutral. And so the way I do it, at least, I put it in gear. Obviously, you know, make sure no one's coming. You let the clutch out to the point where it's about to grab right here. Sorry, gotta make sure nobody's coming. So you let it out to the point it's about to grab, and you just give it smooth throttle application at that point. And so then you can let the clutch all the way out when you get going. Again, back to smooth shifting. Just like that. And so that's how you can pull out on a hill. It's all about, and all cars are different, keep that in mind. Some cars have a very low clutch grab point. Some cars, they have a very high clutch grab point. You gotta let the clutch all the way out to get like, you know, to get the clutch to grab. Some cars it's almost instant. And some cars are so high up you don't even have to press the clutch in. That's more to do with the pedal though. Like, you know, once the car gets a little older, everything gets a little bit more loose. But so hill starts are actually pretty easy. People just freak out about them because cars can roll backwards. So also to people who don't drive a manual, or you know, when you're just normally driving, don't come right up on someone's butt, because it can make someone who's driving a manual nervous, because if they roll back at all, they will hit you. So you know, that's, and it sucks. So give everybody room. Like truckers and stuff, I'm sure y'all have seen them, like they roll backwards and then they pull out. So you know, give people room, give people space to pull out, because manual cars can roll backwards in the time that it takes the clutch to grab and then, you know, get going, versus like, you know, as soon as you let off the brake. So give people room. The next thing you're going to need to know how to do is to downshift. So like in a manual car, you know, once you're in your cruising gear, which is, you know, your top gear going down the highway or going down the road or whatever, if you come up on a hill or you have to go around a slow car or something, it is very bad to just lug your car in a very high gear, because you'll hear your engine just. In automatic transmission, you don't have to worry about that, because when you're in drive, you know, you just press the gas and it figures it out for you and puts you in the right gear, or most of the time at least. So when you're in a manual, there's two different ways you can downshift. You can either just let the clutch out really slow and put the gear lever into the lower gear and it'll just grab all right, or you can heel and toe downshift. And that heel and toe downshifting is much more complicated, but I'm going to attempt to show you how to do it in kind of a simple way. So that's for like race car drivers and stuff like that. When you're on a racetrack and stuff, you know, a good heel toe downshift can be the difference in, you know, milliseconds at the track, you know, obviously matters. And so if you get a good clean heel toe downshift, it helps slow your car down, it doesn't get your car out of line, stuff like that. But you know, we're just going to stick to the basics for right now. All right, look, so I'm in third, and I want to go down to second, so I push the clutch in, let off the gas, go down into second, let out real slow, and see the car kind of lurches forward a little bit, and so that's okay, you know, it's just got to get rev matched is what it's called. So some cars actually nowadays have automatic rev matching, which is pretty cool, so you can just do it yourself, and the car will take care of the blipping of the throttle is what it's called. Sorry, these speed humps. So we'll do it. Sorry, that wasn't a good shift. Keep in mind, this isn't my car and I don't drive it every day, so it's taken me a little bit of getting used to. But so like we're in third right now. We want to go down to second to go up a hill, say, or something. And so we just clutch in, foot off the gas, down into second, and let off just real slow. And watch your RPM. See they jump? See, that was a good one right there. I let it out really slow. Now we're in fourth. Want to go down to third, so clutch in, foot off the gas, straight up. Let out real slow. Now we're in third. You can hear it. So it's pretty simple, but yeah, I understand it can scare people because like when your car kind of jumps and stuff, it's not very confidence inspiring, so to speak. So as far as heel toe downshifting is concerned, when you go to downshift, obviously you got to push the clutch in, and so you know you brake with your toe, and you got to blip the throttle like that. So you go and then let out. And so it's very difficult to do, and this car doesn't actually have very good pedal placement to be able to do it. So I'm not really going to try it, but that's for very advanced techniques and stuff. But I mean, you have to blip the throttle up, and you got to watch your rev counter to be able to match the revs of what the gear is supposed to be. So if you don't do that, like I said, you know, the car will lurch and stuff like that, and sometimes can even stall, you know. So you have to be very careful about doing stuff like that. The main reason people enjoy driving manuals, though, is because manuals are fun. You know, you're in control of the car. You have to control, you know, what gear you're in. Normally manual transmission cars are lighter because they're, you know, they're less complicated. There's just a clutch and a flywheel, and you know, it actuates each other and how you engage the gear and stuff, and how the drive shaft spins off of the engine. So they are much more fun. So like, you know, you gotta be on your game about downshifting, and like when you're going kind of quick, you know, you gotta kind of be going through the gears and stuff like that. So that's, you know, the sticking point of a manual. They are much more engaging to drive. Now some people will tell you, you know, they're not as fun because you're, you know, your mind is always busy. But if you're a true, you know, kind of car guy, and I drive an automatic, you know, trust me, I understand automatics are better. They are, you know, they're faster. You can't outshift an automatic nowadays, and so they're, you know, they make life easier. And that's kind of, you know, it's the result of us being lazy nowadays. But it is what it is. Manuals are always much more fun to drive, especially when you drive an automatic all the time. So guys, that leads me into my next point. And when you are, you know, driving quickly, you got to know how to shift quickly. So, you know, you can't just be all lazy and whatnot, just because say you are in Mexico and, you know, you're going along at a good pace, you know, you got to know how to bank shift. And so that's what shifting quickly is commonly referred to, at least. And so, you know, you got to be able to shift quickly, and I'm about to show y'all how to do that. So it's really fun actually once you get the hang of it. So like if you're in second gear, you know, let me get down into second right here. So you want to get into third, foot all the way to the floor, off. So that's second all the way up to fourth right there. So you got to be really quick coming off on the clutch and off the gas. So it's like you're on the gas and off the clutch, you go just like that. So you got to switch real quick, okay? So it's pretty easy, but you know, it can get somewhat complicated because, you know, you got to know where your gears are, like, because that's what's called missing a gear, like when you go like in between and you hear I'm not going to do it for, you know, sake of this not being my car, but like if you did miss a gear, it's like when you go too quickly and like look, like right here, see, I can't get it all the way in. That's because it's in between. So like there's third and there's fifth, and so like some people like try to go in between, and so it makes for somewhat of an unpleasant feel because you're like, oh no, my car blew up, and so you're just all worried and stuff. And so don't worry, you know, your car normally, you know, stock wise will not just blow up. You know, high horsepower cars it's a lot easier to do, but a car like this Golf, you know, 300 horsepower, it's got an upgraded clutch and stuff like that, so it's not too bad. But like, see, like, look, these people behind me, I don't know if you can see them, they're right on my butt, so I'm gonna have to do, you know, a good pull out like when I go. So wish me luck. So again, guys, if you are a beginner, I suggest finding a parking lot, have someone who knows how to, you know, like your dad or something, like teach you. It's a lot easier when someone's just sitting beside you. And so go to a parking lot, get familiar with your clutch, you know, keep just pressing it in with your left leg and stuff. And so remember, clutch is left leg only. Brake and gas are still normal. It's just like driving automatic, it's right leg. And so, you know, go through your gears and stuff with your gear selector and make sure you know how to get it into reverse. Just slowly let out the clutch and just keep going, you know, get out on the road after you get the hang of that, and then just start going through your gears and then start practicing when you like come to a stop, you know, like be sure to put it in neutral or clutch in, you know. There's not a whole lot to remember. There's just that much more than driving an automatic to remember. So if you like having fun, I suggest having a manual car. I personally cannot afford one currently, but at some point in the near future I will have one, just as a weekend fun car. I'm not worried about, you know, breaking any records in a manual, because driving a manual quickly is extremely difficult. So you can ask racing drivers now. You know, it's more rewarding, but it's definitely harder than just driving automatic and putting your right foot to the floor. So there's that. Coming to a stop right here, neutral. Foot on the brake, and that's it. So it's easy. So guys, I don't know how you can hear me, but this is just a clip, you know, just driving on a back road. Just I'm in third. Look, just. That's where manual cars are fun. I don't know how well you can hear me again, but you know, like look, I'm coming up to a curb, downshifting third. Just gotta, you know, both hands on the wheel. My car's in gear, I know it's in gear, so I'm just going through curves. It's a lot of fun. But like look, now I'm about to come up on a stop sign. I want to reiterate, this is a big thing people forget too. Put it in neutral or press the clutch in before you come to a stop. It's that simple. So one more time, guys, to reiterate before I end this video. So find yourself a parking lot. Like I'm in a nice little church parking lot right now. It's huge. I can drive around. It's your e-brake normally, like when your car's on. So, you know, clutch in, foot on the brake, start the car. So then, foot on the brake, let your e-brake down, clutch in, over, up and left for first. So now you can let off the brake and just let the clutch out really slow until it grabs. You can see I'm moving without pressing the gas. So now look, you can give us a gas. And look, you can just smoothly shift. And look, this parking lot is huge. I mean, like you could just about have an autocross circuit in this parking lot. It's a very nice church actually. But this is exactly what you need. You need a big parking lot where you can just coast around and get your feel. So like, you know, like when you want to park somewhere, look, you can throw it in neutral. Most of the time before you get there. So like here, we'll do it again. First gear, and I'm just gonna pull out normally, like I'm the person who can drive stick. Just flip the throttle and look. And so look, there's 100 parking spots here, and say I want to pull in one up here to the right. So I'm gonna, it's downhill. So look, just down out of gear. You just pull right in. Simple as that, guys. So I'm going to end this video right here. I want to give a huge shout out to my brother Derek. Follow him on Instagram. His name is Turbo DERKY. So we're from Kentucky. He's got this awesome Volkswagen GTI APR Stage 2. He's got a Focus ST. He's big into like mini trucks and stuff, you know, the air down and stuff like that. He's had a ton of cool stuff. But I really appreciate him letting me drive this and let me borrow the car, even though I did give him my car. So I'm sure he was happy about that too. But driving a manual, guys, is extremely simple. You just got to know what the clutch is, what it does, what your gear lever does, you know, where all your gears are. Have somebody show you, you know, don't just, it's hard to watch a video, you know, unless you really, really are good with your, you know, hand-eye coordination, foot-eye coordination too, I guess would be the other term. But so, you know, it's like I say, guys, it's always simple. So, you know, you just clutch in, first gear, up and left, and just let your foot off. Just let your foot off the brake and just let it pull you forward. Just pull it up about 2 inches. And look, and then you just keep going. And now look, the car's just pulling me around. I'm not even doing anything. So now I can give it gas and I can start going. It's as simple as that. So, you know, then you got to know how to shift. So remember, clutch in, foot off the gas, down to second. Get going a little faster. Clutch in, off the gas, up to third, and so on and so forth. You have a pattern right here on your shifter. You just got to follow that pattern. And so when you come to a stop, look, I just put it in neutral. Complete stop. Just the brake, just like an automatic car. And then when you get going again, look, easy. And I'm going slow just so you guys can see. I mean, you can even pull out faster than that. It's really easy, guys. And you know, backing up is the same way. It's just you gotta like look here, come to a stop, put it in neutral. His synchros are a little weak, I think. That's why I'm struggling to get out of gear. But so look in this car, clutch in, foot on the brake, press the gear lever down, over and left, and it has reverse over and left, just so you know. And so it's the same way. Look, just let off the clutch a little bit, let off the clutch a little bit, let off the clutch a little bit, let off the clutch a little bit. Look, now we're going. See? Driving a manual isn't about being perfect. It's about having fun and knowing how to do it. I advise everyone to learn how to drive a manual because say you're out with your buddy one day and something goes wrong and he drives a stick shift car. If something goes wrong and you're out in the middle of nowhere and you can't drive him home, he could die, or she could die. And that's, you know, it's very hard to have to put on yourself. And so I learned to drive a manual myself. I taught myself. I watched YouTube videos just like this when I was about 16 or 17. I just went out and my papa had an old work truck. And, you know, stuff like that is very good to, you know, do it in because you're not really going to hurt it. You know, newer cars, you know, you don't really want to, you know, be messing up the clutch and stuff like that. And so driving a manual, guys, is really simple. It's not very hard. It took me, I stalled one time. Because I knew I just had to put the car in gear and let the clutch out as slow as I could. And I watched the car start rolling, and I started easing out, easing out, easing out, and look, now I'm all the way off. And I just started rolling like he has a garage. It was just a big gravel parking lot. That's how I did it. And so once I got comfortable, I was like, okay, so clutch in, foot off the gas, second gear, and I went from there. You know, you go from second, you go into third, all the way up to fifth or sixth or even seventh in some cars nowadays. They have 7-speed manuals like the new Corvettes. So guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something because this is something that I get asked the question about all the time. They're like, people are asking me, this is what literally people ask, they're like, well, how do you know how to drive a stick shift if you drive an automatic Mustang? Jared is calling me. Sorry guys, Jared interrupted, but again, like I was saying, I hope you all learned something because I get asked this question a lot, and it's something that people, you know, want to know how to do because not everyone grows up in a family anymore with a stick shift vehicle, and that's kind of sad in a way. They are killing off manuals, but you know, some companies are, you know, just keeping them around. Ford, Mustang, Volkswagen's big, you know, driving company, you know, Porsche, stuff like that. All the Chevys, you know, performance cars, they have manuals and stuff, and that's really awesome. It's, you know, it's good to see that they're still around. So get out and try it. It can't hurt to try. You know, if at first you fail, try again. It's something that anybody can do who has working legs, and functioning arms and good eyes. It's really easy to do. You gotta be able to press the clutch in, you gotta be able to put the car in gear, and you gotta be able to let the clutch out, and you gotta be able to put the car in the next gear, and you gotta be able to apply the gas and the brake. It's simple as that. So if you can do those things, you can drive a manual, guys. But I hope you learned something again, guys. Please subscribe for more videos like this. In the future, we are headed out to Mustang Week in just a couple days. It is Tuesday right now. We're leaving early Thursday morning. So drop this video a like. We got a lot of cool videos that are planned down there. And free Ashley, I guess, for Mustang Lifestyle. She got arrested for doing nothing. It's crap. But, you know, it happens to the best of us. And I wish them the best. I hope that, you know, something gets resolved. I hope someone, you know, shows the police evidence and she gets let free, maybe an exhaust ticket at the worst. But anyways, guys, I hope to see a ton of you all down there, and I can't wait. But until then, guys, peace out.